All right. How are you doing?
Better.
Better?
I've been better.
All right. So I received a report where they're requesting early termination for you, potentially, or either to extend your case. So you know what I always ask everybody, because you're here for a drug case. If you give a UA today, what are the results going to be?
I will be honest, I will still come out positive.
All right.
Last UA submitted, Your Honor, if I may, I apologize. For interrupting. It was on the 28th. And it was positive for marijuana.
All right. So this is where we are. You are not allowed to use marijuana while you're on probation. It's just, you can't do it. So you have a choice to make. What you're on probation for is a state jail felony. And let me see here. You're on deferred adjudication. So if you were revoked, you're looking at 2 years at the state jail facility, potentially. So the question for you is, do I want to potentially go to the state jail facility for 2 years over marijuana? Is marijuana that important to me?
No, it's not.
You're acting like it is. And so what I can tell you is, I received this supplemental report, and you know what 3 choices they gave me? They said, do you want to extend this case for 6 months? Or do you want to terminate this case, which means you're done with probation? If you would have came into this court negative, I probably would have agreed that you could be off probation, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You've taken the classes, but you're not internalizing anything. It appears that your go-to is, let me use marijuana. I had a good day. Let me use marijuana. I had a bad day. Let me use marijuana. I had friends in college, and you know what they would tell me? They would say, oh my gosh, the air is so crisp and cool. This reminds me of great days. I'm like, what great days? They're like sitting on the balcony at the apartment smoking marijuana. I never smoked marijuana, but they tell me that there are some good memories sometimes that people have associated with that. You are making bad memories by using marijuana. And you will continue to be extended, or maybe a motion to revoke is going to be filed on you for using marijuana. When you're on probation, you're not allowed to use marijuana. You're not allowed to drink alcohol. Those are the rules. Those are the rules of Texas. You go in any courtroom in Texas, and guess what? You can't use marijuana. You can't drink alcohol. Do you have children? How many?
2,
What are their ages?
11 and 12.
They know their mom uses marijuana. Because I guarantee you, your clothes smell like marijuana. If you've ever hugged your child, they're smelling marijuana. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to have the mother who's smoking marijuana. And if you have a boyfriend in your life who thinks it's great for you to be smoking marijuana and you're smoking marijuana with him, you need to cut him loose. You know why? He doesn't care for you. Because if he cared for you, he would tell you, baby, you can't be smoking marijuana because you could potentially go to the state jail facility for 2 years. And Vashawn will tell you, I've sent women to prison, women to the state jail facility, men to prison, men to the state jail facility. Because we can only do so much. And after that, we'll move on to the next case. Do you understand? So guess what's going to happen today?
Getting extended.
Yes, you are. And you know what comes with that? More reporting, more fees, all of that's going to pile up on you. And you know whose fault it is that you're getting extended?
Mine.
Yes. So the next time you think about smoking marijuana, you need to ask yourself, do I want my probation extended? Do I want to go to the state jail facility for up to 2 years? If your answer is yes, then you go ahead and you smoke your marijuana. And guess what's going to end up happening? Your children will not be with you potentially for 2 years. And in that 2 years time, anything can happen, because I don't care what anybody says. Good mothers, nobody loves a child like their mother. if it's a good mother. If it's a bad mother, then you can't say that. Do you understand? Be a good mother to your children. All right, we're going to extend her, and I'm going to want her tested for levels. And if those levels do not start to drop, file a motion to revoke. And I will hear your case. Maybe you'll be brought over dressed in blue. Maybe you'll bond out, but I will hear your case if those levels go up. Do you understand? So how often are you using marijuana? Is it every day?
No,
When?
when I do have bad days,
All right. And why are you having bad days?
who doesn't?
Is it like
Right.
life?
Yes, it's hard being a mother, a daughter, a sister, a girlfriend, a cosmetologist, a felon. It's a lot. I make sure everybody's good. Nobody makes sure I'm good. I try
Oh.
to talk to my PO. My PO tells me she doesn't get paid enough to hear it. Like,
Oh, no. Let's not start with that, because let me just tell you something in this court. I do not allow people to speak badly of other people when they're not here.
Okay.
And I know that I've told you what I tell everybody else who comes in this courtroom. If you have an issue with probation and they're not addressing it, you can always come in, because we're always here, Monday through Friday. And you can always come in and address it with Miss Abrams, or come in and address it with me. And if you feel like Miss Abrams is not hearing you, I will hear you. But I can tell you right now, she always hears people. So don't come in here saying probation is saying, I don't get paid enough for this. And honestly, they don't get paid enough. But probation officers from the 187th, they don't say that, because they know that my key thing in court is everybody needs to be kind to each other. Even if you fake it, you better fake it with an Oscar-winning performance that you care and that you're kind, because everybody has bad days. So what are your issues? Why are you using? You say you have bad days, your boyfriend not listening to you. Well, if your boyfriend is not listening to you and he's a part of the problem, then you need to ask yourself, do I need this boyfriend in my life?
Yeah.
Because if they're not bringing anything positive to the equation, you know what that means? They don't love you. You're just a stop along the way. I know you're probably not listening to me,
No, I am.
but that means that there's certain people that you need to cut out of your life. And sometimes the worst people in your life is family. And sometimes you got to cut family out of your life. People always say, you don't choose your family, you choose your friends. Well, you're choosing bad people. So, and then if there are family members who are not any good to you, once you evaluate it without the cloud of marijuana, then maybe they need to be cut loose. There's no harm in cutting family loose. You send them a card at birthdays, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, and the holidays, and call it a day. So what else is going on? Is there some mental issue that we need to discuss? All right, you can't use marijuana. What are you suggesting?
Your Honor, we have listed the relapse prevention stay and quit program,
Okay.
and I think that would suffice.
All right, we're going to extend 6 months, amend conditions to the relapse prevention program, stay and quit program.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to want her tested for levels.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there anybody she can talk to when she has issues? Me, if something comes up in my life, I can always pick up the phone and call my mom and say, this is what's going on. I have the support system. Do you have anybody that supports you and looks after you? Is that a no?
No.
All right. So is there any?
I'll talk to her.
All right. So she's going to find out if there's some support group you can get involved with. There are always support groups out there, even if it's you in a book club or something. There's always people you can talk to, because book club stuff sometimes spills over into life. And you probably need to get involved in a group. It could be a travel group. It could be a book club group. And at some point in time, you're going to meet somebody and they're going to be your friend. And that friendship will go outside the book club, and it may be somebody you can talk to with different issues. You understand? All right. So do not come back here testing positive for marijuana. I'm going to say this again. If you have an issue and you feel like your probation officer is not addressing it, you can always come to court, except for Saturday and Sundays because we're not here. All right. All right, Davis,
Yes, that's correct.
Davis Villegas. All right, this is family violence. Motion to revoke,
There's only a single allegation.
and you're over here.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. Court is calling 2021 CR 2745, State of Texas versus Davis Alexander Villegas. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks, the state of Texas.
Defense,
Pat Montgomery for the defense.
are you Davis Alexander Villegas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Going to show you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Davis Alexander Villegas who was placed on community supervision in 2021 CR 2745 for the offense of assault, bodily injury, married cohabitation on April 11, 2022 for a term of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Violate condition number 42 on or about the 18th day of August 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant Davis Alexander Villegas, defendant there failed to participate in the lifetime recovery treatment program in violation of condition number 42.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 42, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, up to a $750 fine? Did you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition 42?
It's true.
Court will find violation of condition number 42 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There's no agreement between the state and defense. The state is recommending the underlying sentence be imposed.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, if the underlying sentence is to be imposed, Mr. Villegas has 106 days credit. In this case, he was a fugitive. He walked away from lifetime recovery. He did so in the midst of a severe panic attack. In fact, his psychiatric issues are well known and well documented. His family was at wit's end. They'd done everything they could to support him. They had a bit of an intervention. Three of them are here today, and by proffer, I tell you this. They had a bit of an intervention, and they told Mr. Villegas, we will help you. We will come back into your life and back you up every darned way we can, but we're not going to do it as long as you have a warrant. They put him in an Uber, and the man drove an Uber to Bexar County Jail and turned himself in. Decided to put himself on the right track. Judge, when he left lifetime recovery in his panic attack, he had genuine subjective fears for his safety and his mental condition. He was at the tail end of a methamphetamine spiral. He went directly to the Center for Healthcare Services Crisis Center. They couldn't take him because he couldn't prove who he was. He had no ID. He went to Laurel Ridge. They couldn't take him because he didn't have proof who he was. He had no ID. Judge, since he's been on probation, he's taken the BIP class, which was I think the court told him it was probably one of the most important parts of probation. He's had some reports. He's had some negative UAs. He's had some missed UAs. He's had a prior motion to revoke. What Mr. Villegas and his family are asking you to do is revoke the probation. Consider the fact that he has 106 days in and satisfy the judgment, allowing them to get him into the private medical community instead of being treated through, as probation recommends, the dual diagnosis residential facility. To that end, the last thing I'd tell you is by way of allocution, my client, who is not, I won't say he's not well-spoken, but he's not a lawyer, you know, rather than stammer to the court, he's written, and I've already given to the prosecutor his story. I'd ask.
No objection.
Right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So did he successfully complete the BIP course?
I'm told that he did. I would invite verification from probation.
Probation on David Villegas. Can you tell me whether or not he completed the BIP course?
Yes, ma'am. Just give me one moment.
The state has the court summary and it might.
Your Honor, according to the court summary there, it does say that he completed it. I guess it's different tracks and there's multiple completion dates.
All righty. And has there been any violation of this no harmful contact with Hannah Barnes?
Again, Your Honor, so far as I know, no.
There's no allegation of that. Your Honor.
All right. You want to call one of his relatives to testify?
Sure. I have a hand going up. Of the three of them, one has volunteered.
All right. You'll need to step over there. So. Good afternoon. Can you state your name, please?
My name is Amanda Villegas.
All right, Ms. Villegas, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. What is your relationship to Davis?
I'm his older sister.
So counsel has informed the court about you all placing him in an Uber.
Yes, ma'am.
What's been going on with him?
I think there's just been a lot of grief since my dad passed away. It's been hard. And I think the lack of support at the time that we had, it was just me and my brother. And so I think now that we have a lot more community around us, my mom's in our life again, and she has a wonderful husband. And that alone has helped my brother so much in wanting to be a better father and to be a better brother and better son and to make my dad proud.
All right. So with regards to this case,
Mhm.
what is the plan with Davis?
So we, as a family, we live together. Our goal is to help him either get his GED, to help him find a job so he can be a productive member of society. We do want to see him get some therapy so that way he can deal with the issues that he's had that have been, affecting him in his life.
All right, when you say we live together, does that mean that he is living with you all?
That is correct.
Right, and who's all in the household?
It's me, my mom, and her husband.
Any children in the household?
No, ma'am.
Do you know what's happening with Hannah Barnes?
No, I do not.
Counsel, any questions?
I'll tell the judge who else is here with you,
Yeah, my mom and her husband are here with me today.
the folks we've been talking
Hi,
about.
okay.
Just so you know. And by proffer, they would tell you pretty much the same thing.
All right, so if he's not taking his medications, what is the plan?
Honestly, Judge, I'm a big advocate for just helping keep his mind, body, and soul right. We go when we work out, we try to do things like eat right, we spend time with our family, and I think those things alone do help in helping with, his issues.
Right,
Mhm.
so any further questions, defense?
Nothing from me, Judge.
State any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for
Sorry.
coming down. All right,
I believe that you would hear the same thing from the defendant's mother, perhaps more teary-eyed.
Okay.
And I don't think it would benefit the court.
all right.
It has been confirmed he did.
Right. So based upon the length of time you've been on probation, the court is going to grant the motion to revoke. So you are going to be revoked. The only question is, how much time do I give you? When I look at probation cases, I want to know, one, Did you complete any conditions? 2, have you picked up any new cases? 3, have you not harmed a complainant? And the fact that in here it says no harmful or injurious contact with Hannah Barnes. Let me see if I ordered something different. Yeah, I ordered a no contact with her. So can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Davis Alexander Villegas,
All right, when's the last time you seen Hannah Barnes?
over 2 years ago.
So there's no plan to continue to be with her?
No, ma'am, I haven't seen her in over 2 years.
All right, who's at the gate? Oh, that's his client. Sorry. All right, and how much time do you have in at the jail?
I think they told me 106 days, Judge. I know it was over 100. I don't remember if it was 106 or 108 because my mind became foggy.
Well, part of sentencing, part of it is punishment. You understand? All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is finding violation of condition number 42 true. Court will revoke. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, give you credit for any time served, and the court will sentence you to 110 days in the Bexar County Jail. Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, John.
You have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you are on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, John.
Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I know they give them 2 for 1.
I thought that since he's wearing orange, that's going to be the case.
So you'll probably be out sometime later today.
Your Honor.
So it'll probably be midnight. You know how we're off the record. You know how the jail is. So it'll probably be midnight.
I'll make sure everybody's on standby. May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may be excused. You're going to have to do better.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, Judge.
Thank you.
Happy bosses day.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 7826, State of Texas versus Joshua Leal. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense?
I'm your memorial, Your Honor.
Are you Joshua Leal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Leal, I'm going to show you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Going to show you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Mr. Leal, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged by indictment with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than grand? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility
Yes,
and
Your
up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you enter a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Leal, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promise you anything other than the plea? The way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial? Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration NIMAG number 713090, County Court cause number 715608. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state,
Yes, Judge.
showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Joshua Daniel Gomez and the Academy Sports at 7523 Northwest Loop 410, San Antonio, Texas, 78245. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No.
State any evidence?
State all for state exhibit 1 and all attachments.
All right, state, you may continue to.
No objection.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, we respectfully ask the court to follow the plea bargain agreement, Your Honor.
All right, are you employed?
Right now, no.
So how are you supporting yourself?
I live with my mother,
How old are you?
27,
Do you have any children?
1,
Age?
4.
And where is the 4-year-old?
She lives with her mother.
So who is Joshua Gomez to you?
I don't know. There's nothing to me.
Well, why are you following him?
I don't know this guy.
Well, no, in the police report, it says you followed him from the apartment complex to the sports academy. So why are you following this person?
I believe he was following me, and that's why I followed him. I didn't really know him.
So you believe somebody is following you, so you follow them?
Yes, that's why.
How much drugs had you used that day?
How much drugs?
Yes. Had you used that day? You had meth in your vehicle.
Yeah, I only had like
What?
less than a gram.
No. I know there's less than a gram remaining. Are you telling me on that day you had not used any drugs?
No, I did.
All right. So what were you using that day?
Meth.
All right. When's the last time you used meth? And before you answer me, here's the thing. Your attorney and the state have come to an agreement that you're to receive deferred adjudication.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to be honest with me. Now is not the time to pretend. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So when's the last time you used meth? And before you answer, you are going to get drug tested today. So be honest.
I used yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes, I did.
How often are you using?
Say every once in a while,
What is every once in a while?
week or so.
How often?
Like a week or so.
Are you saying you use every week?
No, not every week. I don't use all the time. I don't use all the time. I
All
don't.
right. So how are you getting money to pay for meth? Because usually marijuana, people will do the puff pass, but at some point in time, people start charging you. And usually for meth, they charge.
Right.
This is not from any personal experience. This is just what I know from reading.
Yes, ma'am. I get money from the plasma. I'll go donate plasma.
So I want you to know where you are right now. Where you are right now is you're a 27-year-old living with your mother, selling your blood for drugs. We're going to try to get you help, but whether or not you accept it is completely up to you.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court will do. Court's going to sentence you to 2 years deferred adjudication. I'm going to want a referral to felony drug court, TAP evaluation, 90 sober meetings in 90 days. If felony drug court doesn't accept him, you're going to follow all recommendations of TAP eval. So if TAP says that you need to be in inpatient treatment, you're going into inpatient treatment. And I know people don't want to do inpatient treatment. People always say, I can do it myself, but you can't do it yourself, because if you could, you wouldn't be here. So everything that I'm giving you while you're on probation, it's hopefully to help you improve yourself where you can be a good parent to your 4-year-old. You understand? So follow recommendations of TAP. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs until accepted in felony drug court, or there's an inpatient treatment recommendation. If TAP doesn't recommend inpatient treatment, and if felony drug court doesn't accept him, then I'm going to want the UA hotline. There's to be parenting classes. No contact with Joshua Daniel Gomez or the Academy Sports at 7523 Northwest Loop 410 78245. There's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. I'm not going to waive those. Is there a reason why you're not employed?
I'm studying. I'm studying,
Studying what?
well, to be a business owner online.
No, you're getting employment. You understand?
Yes.
You can't be living off your mom and you have a 4-year-old to support. I'm going to tell you what I tell many of people who come here. When you have a child, you have to support them. You can't have a child and then put them over at Travis Park and say good luck to you. So, and the reason why I say that is this, and I can see the twinkle in your eye, but I'm telling you truth. That 4-year-old, if there's not a parent taking care of that 4-year-old, you know what ends up happening? They don't eat. So you're at home, you're eating, you're selling your blood for drugs. If the 4-year-old were 100% dependent on you, the 4-year-old would be starving because you're not doing anything to help. You're not bringing anything to the table. If it were a party, you're not bringing the napkins, you're not bringing the appetizers, you're not bringing anything. You're not even showing up for the 4-year-old right now. Do you understand?
Yes.
There's going to be proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And Deputy Laura, we're going to do his TAP evaluation in felony drug court while in custody. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
Your Honor, is there anything about field visits?
Yes, I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month until further notice. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
Mm.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And we can go off the record. The reason why I'm taking you into custody for your TAP evaluation and felony drug court evaluation is because I believe when you leave this court, you're going to use again, and you are in dire straits as far as using. You understand? All right, good luck to you. Who's here? I'm Brandon Sierra. Hello.
Hello.
All right, the court is calling 2023 CR 7272, State of Texas versus Lisa Pryor. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Dan Kramer for Ms. Pryor.
And are you Ms. Pryor?
Yes, I am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Pryor, did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision or Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Ms. Pryor, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand you're charged with tampering with a government license or seal? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, I do.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
I did.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
She does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Ms. Pryor, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, I am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived a right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine and state recommends deferred. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
State,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Judge.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, I did.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
There's not.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
State offers states exhibit 1 in all attachments.
No objection.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Who was the name of the person you were with?
Joseph Mora.
Joseph what?
Mora, Mora, his Valentine is the middle name. He's here in Bear County Detention Center.
All right, do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
How many?
I have 3, 2 are grown and 1 is 13 living with my mother.
And Judge, what Ms. Pryor did want me to ask, and I did discuss this with the state, if you might be willing to consider probating her fine. She is currently unemployed and is seeking mental health disability with the government. I asked her if she would want you to help her with any services from probation on that score. She said that would be great, would probably actually help her with her disability request as well.
Okay. So when's the last time you had employment?
I was let go on December 2nd, 2022.
From what? Doing what?
So I ran the office administrator and HR for a lawn care company insurance.
Okay. And if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Probably will not pass.
All right. So what drugs have you been using?
I thought it was cocaine, but it was not.
What do you mean it was not cocaine? What was it?
Methamphetamines.
So how often are you using?
I really just did the once. Like,
How old are you?
I'm 41.
Why are you trying cocaine/meth once? And you have a
Because I
child
have a
that's
lot.
13.
I really do. So I just looking for some sort of release. It was a stupid mistake and I have a lot going. I have a lot going on.
What is going on?
So my husband just got sentenced to TDC, so he's in TDC. He got a 6-year sentence. And he has been bench warranted to Bandera County. And they tried to hit him this morning with 25 years.
Okay, I'm sorry, you need to speak up.
They tried to hit him this morning with 25 years.
Okay.
So I just emotionally,
All right, so that's one thing. You have a husband who's going away to prison and maybe getting 25 years. What's the next issue?
this one,
That's it?
This one, she said.
this one. Yeah.
Oh, and this what's happening now?
What's happening now and my son going to Lawrence. I mean, that was the best thing for him at the time. I do agree. And it's still a struggle, especially since I just had him this past week because he was on fall break. It just reminded me like how much I missed him and needed to get my stuff.
So your answer to that was to use cocaine/maybe meth.
No, that was before. I mean, I did it before I got him.
No, but I mean, you said you're going to be dirty today. So when's the last time you
Well,
used?
no, I said maybe because I don't know, like.
So
how long
when's
I
the
stayed
last
here
time you
system and
used?
stuff.
When did you last use it?
The Friday, last Friday, not 3 days ago, but the week before that.
And who do you stay with?
Myself and I have a roommate right now.
Who's the roommate?
His name is John Roundtree.
How do you know John Roundtree?
When my husband was arrested, I put an ad on roommates.com. And he's lived at my house since April. I was about to have my house foreclosed on and he pulled me out of that.
All right. And what's the mental health issue?
I have major depression, severe anxiety, and PTSD.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. $500 fine that will be probated. 3 years deferred adjudication. 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to ask for parenting classes. Once she completes the parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors, and that includes your son. And John Roundtree cannot be the adult that's supervising.
Understood.
There's to be regular reporting, regular random UAs. I'm going to want a TAP evaluation. Follow the recommendations. I want a referral to felony drug court. Proof of employment or SSI within 45 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month until she's in a treatment program. Going to want 90 meetings, sober meetings in 90 days. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need? Oh, I'm sorry, a MIC evaluation. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, I don't think so.
Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court today. Here's the thing. You have a son that's hoping that their mother will get their act together. So maybe you can come to graduations and all of that. But if you have no plans on getting your act together, don't be the person who breezes in and out of their life, selling them false promises and then breaking every one of them. Because guess what? When you do that to child, then they're going to have issues. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And do not go to your mother's house acting as though your rules apply. You understand?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
All right. Good luck to you.
She's in Dallas anyway.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
Is
you,
Child
Judge.
Protective Services involved or no?
No.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes. Annabelle Vela.
Judge, that's mine.
And where is Annabelle Vela?
Annabelle Vela is currently in.
Could I have parties approach, please? And probation, this is an application. All right, the court is calling 2023 CR 9279W, State of Texas versus Jerry Carl Williams. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Travis Banks, the state of Texas.
defense?
Robert Brohbach for Jerry Williams.
And are you Mr. Williams?
No.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Williams, I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Off the record for a moment. So attorneys, you all are blocking the door where the inmates come out. And I forgot to make this announcement. The deputies are in charge of court security. If something happens and you are in their way, they have my permission to make the court safe by whatever means they're making the court safe. So if you're in their line of vision, that's on you. We're back on the record. All right, did you understand you have a right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict and hold you over for trial? Did you understand your attorney has 2 days from the presentation of the information and 10 days from the presentation of the information to prepare for trial? You don't have to speak up so the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
No.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.05 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Going to show you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Going to show you what's entitled Information. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
No, Your Honor, the state moves to proceed on the lesser included violation of protective order class A misdemeanor.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the state is proceeding on the offense of violation of protective order or bond conditions as a Class A misdemeanor Range of punishment is up to $4,000 fine and up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to a $4,000 fine and up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, ma'am, he has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, ma'am, he has.
Do you believe he's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, he is.
Mr. Williams, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of violation bond and protective order. There's a $0 fine. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Latosha, Latosha Williams, and anger management course. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, sir.
state.
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 12 months. There be 100 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the lesser included offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit 1 and its attachment.
No objection, Your
All
Honor.
right, and state, did you have a chance to speak with the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me pull that out.
Mr. White, your client wants to speak to you.
Yes, we did make her aware of this.
All right, thank you. You may continue to confer. Mr. Williams, I'm showing you what's entitled a waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it at all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, ma'am, aware.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
I think he'll follow the rules, Judge, and understands what he needs to do.
All right. So, Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many? Age?
Well,
All right, and is this one child? Is the complainant the mother?
no,
All right. So what is your relationship to Latosha Williams? Your wife? How long have you been married?
year,
1 year. How long have you known her?
2 years.
I'm sorry,
Two,
2 years. And how old are you?
32.
Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Doing what?
I'm a truck driver, but I operate heavy equipment right now.
Okay. All right, so I want to explain something to you. She no longer wants to be with you. Now, I mean, you say that's fine, but what I have before me is you contacting her. She doesn't want you anymore. Legally, I guess you all are still married, but in the real world, right, she doesn't want you anymore. She
Right.
doesn't want to be your wife. She doesn't want you contacting her. Do you all have property together? All right, you don't have property together. You don't have children together. Do y'all have friends in common? You don't have friends in common. So it's like the song Maya, The Case of the Ex. You don't have any mutual friends. You don't have any children. You don't have any property together. The only thing you have is name on paper.
Right.
So did you all legally marry, or is this common law that you're doing?
Legally, man.
All right. So she doesn't want you anymore. You can get a divorce on paper, or she can get a divorce on paper.
Yeah, I already got it.
But so you have it filed?
Yeah, I'm going, it's already in the process.
All right. So you understand you're not to have contact with her. She's done.
That's fine.
And you should be able to be done with her because you're 32 and you've only known her for 2 years. So you went 30 years on the planet without knowing her. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure, is your mom currently alive?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure your mom has told you to move on.
Most definitely. Family members, everybody.
So you need to do it. Otherwise, you're looking up to a year in the Bexar County Jail. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 1 year deferred adjudication, 100 hours of community service restitution. How often do you see your 12-year-old?
He live in Illinois. Only sometimes when I go back to Louisiana, I'll see him. But I just pay child support basically.
So you're not a father?
I'm a father, but
No.
I'm not there. His mom took him to a place where he can have a better education, basically, because there's nothing where I'm from. That's the same reason why I moved here.
Well, no. Being a father is more than just paying child support.
I'll be there when I can. But
Well-
if he's in another state, what can I do?
Oh, you can have contact with him. You
I
can
do
be
all that. I
a,
talk to him every day.
you can be a
FaceTime.
person in his life.
I do all.
So it's going to be parenting classes. And the community service hours will not be waived. If you want to pay off your community service hours, you're more than welcome to pay off your community service hours at $7.25 per hour. And there's going to be parenting classes, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs, or either you can do the patch. And we'll do field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. There's to be no contact with Latasha Williams. And when I say no contact, what that means is you can't have some third party call her, text her. Don't send her flowers. Don't saying, sorry, it didn't work out. You're not to communicate with her at all. Is as if you never met her, you don't know her. Do you understand?
That's not. The parenting class I took in county, would that count for the parent, what you trying to give me? Because I
Oh, yeah. Why did you have to take parenting classes in Ledette County?
Volunteered to take.
No, why?
Why?
Yes.
Took it.
What, were you divorced? What was their child custody issues? Why?
I just took it just to know how to be a better parent, basically.
All right. Well, you'll need to provide proof of that to probation.
Okay.
All right. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
The removal of my ankle monitor.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to do that yet. But Sean, His ankle monitor can be removed once the complainant is contacted and see if the complainant has issues with that. The state will do that for you. So family violence. On this case, before his ankle monitor is removed, someone needs to contact the complainant and let her know that he's asking that the ankle monitor is removed and see if she has any objections to that. If she does have objections to that, we can come back to court and I'll hear what the reason is. All right. I'm going to show you.
Man, I'm a truck driver. I can't make a living being on ankle. I can't even find a
Sir,
job.
go around. Yeah. Why are you reaching through?
Your Honor, we will do today.
They're going to call today. Here's the issue, and I don't think you understand the seriousness of the issue. Because when people come before me, guess what they want? They want these cases done. They want things to move on, and they want their life to be back the way it was before they had a case. So the issue we have is a civil judge put in place a no contact order. You violated the no contact order. I've read your violations with her. So obviously there's some issue with you understanding the no contact order. And if you had to come to a criminal court, and this is a felony court, which means the state reduced your case from a felony to a misdemeanor, that means that there are issues with you and you're not understanding a court order. So what would it look like for me to think, oh, now he understands because he's talking to me, a judge, when he was talking to Judge Salinas and it didn't matter. So you understand? So that's why. So I want to make sure that the complainant knows that your attorney and you are requesting that the GPS be removed. If the complainant says, I'm in fear, I don't want the GPS removed, guess what's going to end up happening? We're going to have a hearing. That's the way we do things in this court. Because my job is to make sure that, one, when people are placed on probation, they're rehabilitated, and make sure that if there is a complainant out there, that complainant is protected and society is protected. That's my job.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. So, Mr. Brawback,
Yes, ma'am.
they're going to speak to the complainant today. If you want to hang around and see if they get in touch with her,
Yes, ma'am.
then we may be able to take this up.
Okay.
And state if she is objecting to it and she wants to appear by Zoom, then we can do that today and have a hearing by Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
I'll be
Mr.
there.
Williams, remain in court.
Remainder. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Provision. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
defense?
Fully office marshal for the defense, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Hernandez? Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, and I have signed the discovery acknowledgement.
All right, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Hernandez, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Off the record for a moment. Excuse me. Do not talk to inmates in the box. Do you understand? No, you were nodding your head to people in the box. Can you correct that? Thank you. Deputies don't like when you talk to people in the box for security reasons. All right, we're back on the record. I'm going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Hernandez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
I need you.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle? That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you counsel and gives you more than you bargained for, The fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this agreement, you were giving up those rights? Hi.
Yes, yes,
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, he has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes,
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
yes,
Mr. Hernandez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did understand.
According to the plea, there's a $1,000 fine to be probated. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking into consideration grand jury number 790694. There's to be restitution payable to Brandon Flores and also Juan Antonio Mata and grand jury number 790694. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
that's correct.
State.
It is, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours community service restitution, no contact with Brandon Flores, Juan Antonio Mata, and Cats 1 and 2. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State Exhibit number 1 with all its attachments.
We have no objections.
All right, state, you may be excused. Showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Well, Your Honor, we would like the court to, having considered the application for deferred adjudication, to grant that application for deferred adjudication. I believe that Mr. Hernandez is motivated to comply with conditions of his probation, and I hope to believe that he will successfully complete the probationary period. And so we're asking that the court would accept the plea bargain that we entered into with the state.
All right. How old are you?
18.
Are you in school or have you graduated?
Neither.
Excuse me, Mr. Bartholomew. Hi, you all need to move to that end.
Sorry, Judge.
right.
I can wait.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Diane.
My apologies.
So did you graduate from school or are you in school?
None of them.
So
I didn't graduate.
why not?
I had a kid.
You have a child?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the age of your child?
A year and 4 months.
Why do you think not getting an education is somehow helping your 1-year-old?
I was thinking of doing GED, but I really don't got nothing.
But the taking a vehicle
Right.
got in the way of that?
That was before my daughter was born.
So are you employed?
No, ma'am. I have an interview on Friday though.
All right, so you're not employed.
Mm.
You say you dropped out of school because you had a child, but none of your actions
Right.
are doing anything to better your child. So does your child live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And who else?
The mother of my child.
Hmm?
The mother of my child.
All right, and are you all living by yourselves?
Yes, ma'am.
So how are you paying for rent?
Yeah, well, I mow lawns around the area. I have normal like customers and plus I help.
All right, you're modeling. I can't hear you. And I know the court reporter is having a time.
I mow lawns around the area. I have like normal customers. And I help around with my mom's friend.
Everyone whisper.
And I help around with my mom's friend doing demolition and junk removal and stuff like that.
Okay. And if you're drug tested today and know you're going to get tested today, what are the results going to be?
Be honest. Like I'm gonna be positive, yes.
For what?
Marijuana.
All right, you have a 1-year-old. Why are you smoking marijuana?
Honestly, I can't even tell you.
So, and is the mother smoking marijuana?
No, no, ma'am.
So here's the problem. 1-year-olds, their immune system is almost non-existent.
Right.
And they're trying to build up their immunity. They're taking in everything that's happening around them. They soak up things like a sponge. Everything that you do, they see, they want to repeat it because they love you and they think that's the way things are supposed to be. You using marijuana means your clothes smell like marijuana, which means the baby is inhaling marijuana. Do you think it's okay for a 1-year-old to smoke marijuana?
No, ma'am.
When you smoke marijuana, it's like the 1-year-old is smoking marijuana. Do you understand?
I do.
You're going to have to set an example for your 1-year-old. Is this a girl or a boy?
Girl.
Right. You got to set an example for her. You know why? Because usually when daughters seek to get married or whatever, they're looking for somebody who's just like their parent. And where you are in the state in your life, if your daughter were of age, would you want her bringing somebody like you home?
No.
So you need to change your ways. You need to get your GED or either go to somebody's trade school or technical school to better yourself, because mowing lawns,
Yeah.
it can only get you so much money unless you're doing great work and you're going to take over the entire neighborhood. If you're taking over the entire neighborhood of mowing lawns, that can be a good living. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. If you complete everything successfully, then the court will consider letting you off early. Your attorney will tell you about that.
Yes, ma'am.
There's $1,000 fine that will be probated. Take in consideration grand jury number 790694. There's to be restitution, if any, to Brandon Flores and Juan Antonio Mata, and cause number grand jury, number 790694. 150 hours of community service restitution. Probation in exchange for the 150 hours community service restitution. I'm going to want parenting classes. And he is either going to complete his GED or enroll in some sort of trade school so you can better yourself. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And my understanding, there's a shortage of welders. And I think welders make a lot of money. And you know who else make a lot of money? Plumbers.
Yeah. My sister wills.
There's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. We're going to do regular UAs and let's test him for levels. Your levels of marijuana use had better start going down. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be no contact with Brandon Flores, Juan Antonio Mata. All right, probation. Let's do field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. And if everything is fine, probation, you do field visits as you deem appropriate. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
As far as proof of employment or.
Thank you. We'll do proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors.
And Your Honor, did I understand you correctly, in lieu of the 150 hours of community service restitution, if he does parenting classes and gets his GET or enrolls in trade school?
The 150 hours will be satisfied.
Thank you. You understand?
All right, is there anything else, probation? All right, they want you to do CATS 1 and 2. I'm going to give you my CATS program right now, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. Do not take what does not belong to you. Do not steal. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a side note to the class that I give, if somebody ever invites you to a location and asks you to leave, leave. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if somebody wants to sell you a car and that car is being sold to you 4 times less its value, that means that there's something wrong with that car. If you get into a car that somebody has sold to you and the ignition interlock is damaged, that means that there's something going on with that vehicle. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else that you need from this court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. From here on out, everything that you do in your life, there are 2 things, well, 3 things you need to think of. 1, you need to think of how it's going to impact your child, right?
Right.
2, Melvina Kane. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 6685 State of Texas versus Melvina Kane. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense,
Robert Gown for the defendant.
are you Ms. Kane?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Kane, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it?
Yes.
Everyone, just give me a moment. We're going to go off the record for a moment. All right. I'm going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
The state, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it at all the appropriate places?
Yes.
I understand you're charged with theft under $2,500 enhanced. That's a state jail felony. Its range of punishment is anywhere from $10,000 fine, from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked,
Yes,
The
ma'am.
court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
She sure does.
Do you believe she's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kane, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
yes,
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, there's a $500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 715-845, night mag number 727-362. Did you understand that to be the plea?
yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state?
Yes, Judge.
Going to show you the waiver of repeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Showing you outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Walmart at 2100 Southeast Loop 410, 78220, and CATS 1 and 2. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence
State offer state exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Could ask the court to follow the plea bargain agreement that we've made with the state judge.
All right. How old are you?
38.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
So why do you keep committing thefts?
Well, at the time, I was into it with my boyfriend and I didn't want to ask him to buy me nothing. So
Well, it says here you both were stealing.
yeah, he was just with me though. But like, if you're with somebody and you're stealing, they go to jail too. So.
Well, it says here items stolen, bra, wallet, cooking oil, pins, 5-pack, backpack, panties, 12-pack of Dr. Pepper sodas, dog food, hand purse, travel kit, personal hygiene items, microfiber towels. So where's the dog?
I don't know. There's no dog.
So you were just
So-
taking dog food?
No, he had that. I think he was gonna pay for that, but when we was in the self-checkout line and he was scanning his stuff to pay for it, that's when they came and got us. So he didn't get to pay for like the stuff that he was gonna pay for.
All right, so why do you keep stealing?
I think it has become a problem
No, I mean, obviously it's a problem. You're in felony court, but the question is, why are you stealing?
because I didn't have the money and I didn't want my boyfriend to buy me.
Well, no, I mean, you're in felony court for this theft because you've had prior thefts.
Yes.
So why do you keep stealing?
I don't know, I guess it's a habit, miss.
All right, were you drug tested today?
No, ma'am.
If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Marijuana,
And what else?
that's it.
All right, while you're doing drugs, knowing you have court,
Just going through a lot,
what does that mean?
stressing, court, trying to find shelter. All this.
Why do
stuff
you not
going
have a
on.
place to live?
Well, my dude's incarcerated and I was staying with him and there's a problem at the house where I'm staying at with him.
All right, so you can't support yourself?
Not at the moment.
Have you ever supported yourself or have you always been
Well, I
dependent
was
upon
always with
others?
my mom and she supported me and I worked for her. but she got murdered 2019, and I met my boyfriend, so I've been with him since. And he been supporting me, taking care of me.
All right. How far did you go in school?
11.
Why didn't you graduate?
I dropped out. I was going through some things, in and out of juvenile and
Out of juvenile for what?
stealing.
Okay. All right. This is what we're going to do. $500 fine probated. There's to be no contact with Brian Dwayne Parker. No contact with Walmarts. Cats 1 and 2. Regular reporting. Regular random UAs. Take in consideration County Court Cause number 715-854, NIGHTMAG number 727362. 100 hours of community service restitution. That will be waived if she is in some type of trade school or gets her GED. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. No unsupervised contact with minors. And I know they have that community court program to help with housing. I think you are not supposed to be on probation with that. Yes.
Oh, I'm with Saha. Well, my case manager's back there, and
Case manager. Hi,
yeah.
come forward, case manager,
Mhm.
because I'm trying to figure out what to do with her so she can be successful. Oh, come forward.
Your Honor,
Oh.
very good things about.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So we're off the record. So what is happening with her and Saha?
Okay, with Saha, she has apparently made a previous application. First of all, my name is Trez Scipio with the City of San Antonio Homeless Outreach.
Okay.
So I've been working with Ms. Kane, probably about a year or so. So I've seen some of the tumultuous relationship issues with her and her, I guess, ex-boyfriend. Met up with her shortly after her time, after her mother passed away. So we've used counseling. We've actually been working with Haven, try and actually get her enrolled in their some of their programs to get her off the street, to get her safely housed. Then from there, we plan on working with her to get her a job, get her stabilized, and move on from there. And she has shared just between the two of us in counseling some of the issues that she has been through. I was kind of shocked when you were asking her, pumping her for information. I'm like, tell them about your childhood, tell them about issues with your mom, tell them that she has been through a very stressful, tumultuous life, both in childhood and as an adult, which I definitely feel.
So is probation able to use you as the contact person to go through to see if she's following through on the programs you set up for her through Saha?
Yes, I can.
All right. So we're back on the record. What I'm going to order then is I'm going to order for her to do housing and mental health. Are you all taking care of that as well?
Take care of that as well.
The mental health will be through Saha. And what is your?
Through the City of San Antonio.
Yeah, through the City of San Antonio, but you're going to be the contact person.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what is your ex-boyfriend's name?
Brian Dwayne Parker.
Oh, that's the person I've ordered you to have no contact with.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're not allowed to have any contact with him.
No, ma'am.
And I can't force you to be in relationships, but I always try to tell people, don't bring somebody else in your life until you know who you are and you're established yourself. So you don't have to depend on people for housing and depend on them to support you.
Yes,
Because when you depend on other people to support you, you know what ends up happening? If they leave, you don't have any support. And then what happens?
This.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Probation, is there going to be anything else she needs? Yes, we'll do field visits. one time per month. And that's just going to be field visits once Saha has her set up, once she has housing. So you'll have a place to visit.
And did you want a TAP evaluation?
Yes, let's do a TAP evaluation. And you need to make sure that you make that appointment. If you don't make that appointment, what's going to end up happening is a warrant may be issued for your arrest. And then maybe you will be revoked, or maybe you will have your TAP evaluation at the Bexar County Jail.
No, I'll make it.
All right. Is there anything else, probation? All right. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you think there's anything else she needs from the court?
From the court, no, ma'am. I believe that is.
All right. All right. And this court communication is key.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's an issue that you feel is not being addressed with probation, you can always come to the court and speak to me. You understand?
Yes.
All right. I'm show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Thank you. All right. And court is calling 2023 CR 7684, State of Texas versus Shelby Bandy. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense.
Kelly Piddle.
And are you Miss Bandy?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, sir.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Miss Bandy, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of burglary of a habitation force? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to $10,000 fine and up to 20 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Ms. Bandy, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 684012. There's to be restitution, if any, to Angel Gonzalez with a Z. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes.
State?
It is, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. The state is recommending that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours of community service restitution, and no contact with Angel Gonzalez. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State Exhibit number 1 with all of its attachments. No objection.
You may be excused. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it? in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We just asked him to follow up.
All right, so why are you breaking into someone's home?
It was a misunderstanding, really. I was watching, I lived there and I was watching the house at the time, and the owner was in rehab, and I had locked myself out of the house. And so I went through a window. I didn't break anything, and I told the owner about it, and it's just
Why was the owner's clothes spread out all over the place?
his clothes.
Yes.
I don't know.
Why were cabinets open throughout the house?
I don't know. I didn't do any of that.
So either you're a bad watcher of homes or either you did that. He's saying that he never gave you permission to be in his home
He
and
did.
that you're
I
homeless.
lived there. I had mail going there, and I lived with him in at the residence. And when I decided to move out, and he had got mad, I guess. I don't know, but it's a mess. Like, so I lived at that address.
Defense?
We have discussed the defense, Judge. She understands that by taking this case, she's giving up her right to a trial and her very what we believe is a valid defense. But she understands that she's giving up her rights and has pled no contest and wishes the court to proceed with the case.
All right. So you do not wish to go to trial?
No, ma'am.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Do you have any children?
I have a son,
Age?
2.
And where is your son?
He's with family.
And where was he doing all of this?
Where was he at?
Yeah.
With my family.
All right. Is there a child protective services case?
No, ma'am.
Why do you not have your 2-year-old?
It's just, I didn't have a stable place to live. So,
How far did you go in school?
some college,
When's the last time you had employment?
about right before I got locked up, which I've been incarcerated for 4 months.
And what were you doing? for
I
employment?
was doing traffic control,
I'm sorry, what?
traffic control.
What do you mean traffic
Like,
control?
how, you know how they shut down the highways, with the cones and,
Ah,
yeah.
so you're the person who places the cones down? Drug use?
No, ma'am.
Here's the thing, I'm putting you on probation. I'm gonna write it down that you told me you have no drug use. If you end up testing positive, we're gonna have issues.
Okay.
So, any drug use?
No, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is gonna do. 4 years deferred adjudication. If you complete everything early, counsel, she can always come back. $1,500 fine, that would be probated. Taking consideration County Court 9, cause number 684012. And that's 684012. Is that the same complainant?
No, it's Walmart, Judge.
All right, so why are you stealing from Walmart allegedly? Was there a confusion there?
No, I didn't have the money to get, like, to pay for it, so
But you have employment, so why wouldn't you have money to pay for
I
it?
didn't that day.
Didn't have employment that day?
No money. I didn't have money that day.
So taking consideration 684012, cats 1 and 2. Regular random UAs. They're going to do random UAs. If you're using, they're going to catch you. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to want parenting classes. Once she completes parenting classes, then I will deem her community service hours satisfied. There's to be no unsupervised contact with any minors. There's to be no contact with Angel Gonzalez. You're going to get employment. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits one time per month until further notice. And we'll do a TAP evaluation that can be done out of custody and follow all TAP recommendations.
Can the court make a notation regarding the payment of supervisory fees? If she were to apply for early termination, she doesn't have to have all the supervisory fees paid for the full 4 years.
Yeah, well, what I can tell you is whether there's supervisory fees still pending in this court, whether there are court fees still pending in this court, when somebody asks for early termination, they send it to me.
Okay.
And I review it on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you.
All right. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. From here on out, everything that you do in your life, any decision you make, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could potentially result in me going to prison for 20 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If it's maybe or a gray area, don't do it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In this courtroom, to be successful in probation, communication is key. If you feel that probation is not addressing something, then you can always come back to the court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes. Hello.